truth,
peace,
peace, freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
The Lord is my protector,
The Lord is my protector,
my guide,
my guide,
and my salvation.
and my salvation.
By night
By night
and by day.
and by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through this holy prophet.
You are me.
You are me.
Amen.
Amen.
All is able to make the stand. You sit down, sis. God. It's you want to make the stand? You
Brother, all is well.
praise God.
Thank you.
First, I give praise to Allah,
First, I give praise to Allah,
great God of the universe.
great God of the universe.
Iman to his holy and divine prophet,
Give honor to his holy and divine prophet,
Prophet Noah Durali,
Prophet Noah,
founder of the Most High Temple of America.
founder of the Lord's Science of the World.
Iman to all true and divine prophets,
Give honor to all true and divine prophets.
Jesus,
Jesus,
Muhammad,
Muhammad,
Buddha,
Buddha,
Confucius,
Confucius,
etc.
etc.
Iman to the forerunners of the prophet,
Give honor to the forerunners of the prophet,
Brother Marcus Garvey.
Brother Marcus Garvey.
Iman to all past supreme grand Bible moderators
Give honor to all the pastors, and pastors, and moderators
of the Most High Temple of America.
of the Lord's Science Temple of America.
Brother C. Kirkman Bay,
Brother C. Kirkman,
Brother F. Nelson Bay,
Brother F. Nelson,
and Brother J. Blakely Bay.
Brother J. Blakely.
Iman to our past former grand Sheikah moderator of the Most High Temple of America.
Give honor to our past forerunners, and moderators of the Lord's Science Temple of America.
Brother I love you.
Brother, I love you.
Iman to our present grand Sheikh who is a moderator.
Give honor to our president, who is the moderator.
Brother R. John Bay.
Brother R. Jones,
Iman to his assistant.
give honor to his assistant,
Brother A. Hopkins Bay.
Brother A. Hopkins,
Iman to his national chairman of the Most High Temple of America.
give honor to the national chairman of the Lord's Science Temple of America.
Who was also the grand Sheikh here at Temple 71.
He was also the grand chief here at 1071.
Brother P. Chase here.
Brother P.J.
Iman to all national state and local officials of the Most High Temple of America.
Give honor to all the national chairs of the Church of the Lord's Science Temple of America.
Iman to the grand governor of Washington, D.C.
Give honor to the grand governor of Washington, D.C.
Brother H. Harris Bay.
Brother H. Harris,
And to the assistant,
and to his assistant,
Sister D. Jones Bay.
Sister D. Jones,
Iman to all Sheikhs and members of the Most High Temple of America.
give honor to the
Iman to all auxiliaries of the Most High Temple of America.
give honor to all the authorities of the Lord's Science Temple of America.
Iman to both our flags,
Give honor to both our flags,
the American flag,
the American flag,
flag of our birth,
flag of our birth,
the Morse flag,
the Morse flag,
flag of our descent.
flag of our descent,
This is red flag,
the red flag,
which is 5-pointed green star in the center.
the 5-pointed green star in the center.
One representing
One represents
love,
love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Give honor to everything that the prophet brought
We recognize and honor the Lord
and taught
and to
for the uplift of holy man.
the Lord before all men.
Give honor to special honor each and every one of you made out today. Peace.
Peace.
At this time, I'll read from Salvation Our God, Unity, Most High Temple of America, Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and Chairman of the Most High Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Most High Temple of America. The assisting Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known before the members of the Most High Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest. Because on Friday, the first man was born in flesh, and on Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and descended into the Father God of love. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Most High Temple of America. No members to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all, and may harm his brother or sister because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must observe these holy and divine laws. And all members must obey the laws of the government. Because by being a Morse American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live your life accordingly. Act 5. This organization is more scientific Americans not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of these said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. Group us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. If they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopians. So these names given slaves or slaveholders in 1779 and lasted to 1865 during the time of slavery. This is New World time now. All men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is reason why our great God of the universe ordained through our leader prophet to redeem the people from their simple ways. Most Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend the meetings and become a part and a parcel of all of the national Moorish Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep an eye on all necessities in the Moorish Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faith. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband, take care of your children, and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother in their justice and become a part of the uplifting of all humanity. All most Americans keep their hearts and minds filled with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant of the Holy Prophet Noble Ali through the guidance and the power of God and love. Noble Ali found most American prayer. God, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. God is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, through our lead. Amen. Los Angeles Temple of America, home office mailing address, P.O. Box 388-7600, Mountain Drive, Waynesville, Maryland, 20768. This has a reading from the Divine Constitution about laws in its entirety. Now we'll have a reading from the questionnaire. This is all for the Morse American by the Prophet number 2. Act 1. Grand Sheiks and governors, heads of all small businesses. He said temple must be approved by the Prophet number 2. For acting upon by any member, let it be financed properly, or in a line like that will cause members to sacrifice, finance, etc. They will cause support of any group of members. Any form of office that violates these laws is subject to be removed from this office under heavy restrictions, etc. by the Prophet or the Grand Chief. Act 2. All members are to attend their adapt meetings and their public meetings promptly. A member found standing around a meeting first shall be fined 50 cents on the first case. On the second, you be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. Remember, the workman's money dues must be paid. If he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Morse Uplifting Fund. But it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty to every good member. If he is able to finance to aid and save the nation. If he does not, he is envious because of his own people. And justice must catch him. That it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members who are making a public speech must not do any assertion against the American flag or speak back against the church or any member or any organized group. Because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend the meeting and send their children to Sunday school. The teacher must confirm himself to the personality and let every member exercise the process of what they would do so. Because out from Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. Group us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. They may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopians. Because these names were given slaves and slaveholders in 1779, and that's until 1865, when the time of slavery. time now. All men now must obtain the free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is reason why our great God of the universe ordained those the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Most Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabite who inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores. Act 7. All members must not attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of this natural more science temple. Members must pay their dues, keep an eye on necessities in the more science temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faith. Husbands, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband, take care of your children, and look after you in the household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother in the adjustments and become a part of the upliftment of fallen humanity. All most Americans must keep their hearts and their minds filled with love and the bodies clean with water. This divine covenant from the Holy Prophet Muhammad Ali and the guidance of the Father of God Allah. Peace. This time we read from the Holy Koran and more scientific of America, Circle 7. Divinely prepared by the noble prophet, Ali, our guidance, Father God, Allah, great God of the universe, beginning man from the simple fall stage of manufacturing, how to intellect with the Father God, Allah. I'll read from chapter 25, found on page 35. Holy instruction from the Holy Prophet. Chapter 25, the Holy Covenant of the Islamic Nation. We'll read it in its entirety. Ye are the children of one Father, God provides king, and the rest of the mother will give you the same. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite with their brothers. The peace and happiness be dwell in the Father's house. And he separation in the world, remember the nation divine, peace and love and unity, and the first having strength. If your brother is in the mercy of sister, if your sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortune of the Father, contribute to the poor his whole race. His care be continued to you all, in the love to each other. Peace. I let my out downstairs on front.
Islam.
That's going to take a moment of silence. We'll say it said in, read, and also read out to ourselves. We can be able to receive the blessing Allah will give us today. We start now. Islam. Our president, I call our instructor for the day. Ryan, she's the moderator and more time to come up to her. But I don't pray. Pray to everybody what the comes to pay for this.
Islam. Universe of our love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. my God, and my salvation, by night and by day. Yours is my promise.
True Ali. Amen. Praise the Lord. Who made you? Who is Allah?
Father,
Can we see him?
no,
Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
in the Father,
Who is Lord of Allah?
is Allah's Father.
What is a prophet?
God is the Lord of Allah manifested in the flesh,
What is the duty of a prophet?
to save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who is the founder of the Mori Science Temple of America?
No blood,
What year was the Mori Science Temple of America founded?
1913 AD,
Where?
Newark, New Jersey,
Where was Noble Drew Ali born?
in the state of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish America,
What is your nationality?
Moorish America,
Why are we Moorish American?
which we are descendants of the Watkins born in America,
For what purpose was the Mori Science Temple of America founded?
for the uplifting of all man,
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish American?
by teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islam is
What do you think? What do you think? It was difficult. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think was difficult in teaching our people to be themselves? What would be an obstacle that would show some level of difficulty when we are teaching our people to be themselves?
I think it would be difficult or obstacle to teach our people to be themselves when they don't know who they are, or how to be themselves.
Okay. Come on.
But at the time, I think education had a lot to do with it. They couldn't read it right. I didn't believe it. Until I ran into a brother that couldn't read it right.
Okay. Come on, Brother Harrison.
And teaching our people to learn to love and still hate. To set aside that animosity, not to try to don't get along with others. Always want to put someone be beneath you and you to be above you. That a doctrine that we learn in slavery. So that was a
Yeah, that's good. Yes. Come on, Sister Britt Bay.
And so I'm gonna say acceptance of who we are.
Acceptance of who we are. Yeah. What else? What else do you perceive as being difficult in teaching our people to be themselves? What do you see? What do you see in yourself as you were being taught to be yourself? Come on, man.
One of them I see is that peer pressure,
Peer pressure.
peer pressure. Everybody want to be like another, but who is being themselves? Who can you exemplify yourself by someone with being themselves? Or where their stuff?
What else?
It's normal.
Come on.
I look at it like, first of all, we straight after God who we know nothing about.
Right.
The second thing is that European psychology,
Okay.
once they introduced their psychology to us,
Okay.
and start giving us the marks of Negro, black, and color,
Okay.
we took on that mentality.
Okay.
That's when, the mentality they was teaching us, we accepted.
Okay.
And once we accepted their psychology
Okay.
and fed into it,
Okay.
it wasn't so much about the reading and the writing.
Right.
You understand? Because when Prophet Muhammad received the revelation,
Right.
he was told to read.
Right.
And he said, I can't read. But when the inspiration came to him by the angel Gabriel, you understand? He remembered the inspiration that was sent to him. All right?
Come on, bro, Papa.
That's all. For me, personally, I think the nigger problem is the hardest to break to our people, our brothers and sisters. And the unity piece. All right, us unified as Asiatics and brothers and sisters.
Right.
Because we know where there's unity, there's strength.
Right.
You know, other nationalities or other nations of people, I can see the unity with them as far as amongst each other.
Right.
Whereas though the Asiatic, we study holding each other back, cutting each other's throat, backbite, finger point, you know, anything other than unify together.
Okay.
And even some more, like the brothers and sisters that will come in here for whatever reason.
Right.
Even though we didn't get it our first time either, what I did.
Right.
But as we turn back out there,
Right.
after getting exposed to what we teach and what we stand for here,
Right.
and still return back out the doors
Right.
and cling to that black and that Negro
Right.
stick.
Right. 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 Come on, bro, Hunchback.
Yeah, well, I think knowledge of how to be yourself. You know what I mean? Most of our brothers don't have the knowledge of how to be yourself and to push it forward. You know what I mean? Because it's not. You know, it's hard to see in the hood. It's hard to see any type of unity. Only people that show unity is Spanish. And they push it right in front of our face. And we can't see it. We can't catch it. We can't jump aboard. You know what I mean?
But what's difficult for us? What was difficult for us when we first started? What was difficult? What was the difficulty for us when we first? Did everybody get it at first time? Okay, my point is, what was difficult for us? Come on, sis.
The love.
Come on, sis.
You talking about getting to know ourselves or
Yeah.
be ourselves?
Yeah.
What was difficult for me was cutting loose the old self because I had been this way for so long and under the influence that it was okay
Right.
to be this way in certain behaviors.
Right.
So now to know that this is not the way,
Right.
this is all wrong, changing that
Right.
it still is at times. Some things are still hard for me to shake when it comes to me being me
Right.
from
What you, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
what I've been demonstrating all these years. It's a long time.
Right. Right. See, because if you can visualize or if you can think about what was difficult for you, then you can learn to be more. You can understand a little bit better how it is with some of the people who don't know. And you know, we have to say, remember, we got to remember when we were encountering these difficulties, because we were not always at the place we are now. You know, and we need to revisit that sometimes so that we can be more understanding of those individuals whom we may feel are behaving a certain way, and we want to become a little harder.
Right.
You know? I mean, one of the most difficult things for me was accepting, like Sister Britt Bay said, that I wasn't what I was projecting myself to be. Because remember, at one time, from the material way of thinking, one profited from being something other than himself.
Right. Right.
Or there was a perception of profit.
That's right, mother.
Yeah.
The change would be converting. You converting, mother. And that's a change that you got, and that changes the process. True. You might not get in 30, you know,
That's right.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Okay, Chuck, yeah, we're right. I look at being difficult for people because I think if I say they didn't want to wake us all up at one time, we might tell something.
Right.
But it seemed like, you gotta have that mental strength and physical strength
Yeah.
to keep the practice because coming to the temple, all the time, they were trying to get between, all the time. Because, a lot of things, people come to the temple, I don't think they're being themselves a lot of times. Because like those things say, Jesus said he was down by cold by many times. And I look at that as being difficult to be a fully strength worshiper. So you gotta have strength to do this. Because a lot of times things get on you. That old thing get on you, man. That old vision, the old ways, it could be something for the person. Saying one thing and do another. But a lot of times, I guess when you're in the temple, a lot of times you bring that outside thing in here. You don't have it. A lot of times that stuff won't be there. And, so I'm talking about, I have different thoughts, but like you said, I was here when she was moderate, say you gotta practice. And I understand that practice make you better.
Yeah.
When I train people, as they practice, I can see a difference.
Right.
I can see a difference in improvement.
Right.
Strength.
Right. Right. So let me ask you a question. The question is, identify something in yourself that's difficult for you to accept being yourself. Yeah.
What was difficult for me, Mo, was that my parents and grandparents, they was dedicated to Christianity.
Right.
And they was church-going people.
Right.
You understand? So, when I first heard the prophet's voice, I was hesitant. Because I was saying to myself, "Oh, I'm going to get into something that, that's totally different from what they believe in."
Right.
You understand? Right. So, the prophet had to sit me down for a while in that federal prison for me to really keep hearing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And when I finally gained enough strength,
Right.
then I finally said to myself, okay, I got to break away from what my parents taught me.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
I got to go on my own.
Right.
Right. So, the prophet gave me the strength to make that move.
Right. Right. Another thing that was difficult for me was coming in the temple and having somebody teach me, but seeing them do other than what they teach. That made it difficult for me for a minute, because I had to learn. And this is no early stage of development thing to learn, but we have to learn how to rely on the prophet, but not on the person.
Yeah.
And you can't always see that from the beginning. I can't see the prophet from the beginning, because I hear the person up here talking about the prophet. But my difficulty is, one of the things, he talking like he knows so much. But to me, and my coming out the state of mind I'm in, I'm not going with what nobody's saying just like that.
Right.
So I'm really fighting against going up. I'm going upstream. Against the current. But something got to hit you where you can say, wait a minute, I need to really pay attention to this instead of to that. Because I saw unity when I was on the other side.
I saw unity. Now, it may not have been the type of unity that was beneficial to our advancement, but I saw unity. And at that point, I could identify with that part of unity that I saw. But the uncomfortable part or the challenging part is when you start to try to see something different. Yeah.
As a little boy growing up, I was taught about God.
Yeah.
So when I got older
Right.
and got out in the world,
Right.
you know, I was a part of the world,
Right.
but I still had a knowledge of God.
Right.
So when I came in the temple, it wasn't hard for me to worship
Right.
because I was familiar with God.
Right.
Like you say, the world had a pull on.
Right.
I was thinking when you was asking the question, prophet said we were hard-headed, stiff-necked, mean set of people.
Right.
Okay. I also thought about carnal man wanting not the light.
Right.
So, the prophet teaches we have two selves. So a part of me understand that high self,
Right.
but we still have that lower self, that
Right.
carnal self.
Right.
And that part,
Right.
still you have to work with
Right.
all the time.
Right.
Okay? When it comes to teaching other people, you know, so like Sister Britt said, you know, people get so used to their lifestyle.
Right.
You know, also, I think about growing up, people can't wait to get to the point where they're grown. You know, they say, I'm grown, I can do what I want to do.
Right.
So that's kind of mentality,
Right.
you know, people not easy to submit
Right.
because they want to do what they want to do. They think they're grown enough,
Right.
you know, but we've learned in here that we still children
Right.
of the great God.
Right.
You know, so when it comes to teaching somebody and the things I wrestle with, it's just the Lord self.
Right.
Just trying to stay on top of it, you know.
Right.
And when it said carnal man want not the light,
Right.
some people just submit to the Lord self and
Right.
accept it
Right.
as a way of life.
Right.
And that will make it difficult in trying to teach somebody.
Okay. Look, now remember something. We ain't talking about teaching nobody. We talking about teaching who?
Self.
The self. That's what we want to focus on, self.
Exactly.
Because that's where the problem lies. It don't lie with nobody else.
That's right.
No.
You know, so we want to look at, make sure we keep the focus on self. Come on, Sister Jones, man.
In thinking about the challenge to teach me to be myself, I remember just coming to the temple before I even joined,
Yeah.
but hearing something different
Yeah.
and starting to think about it.
Yeah.
So that even when I joined the temple,
Yeah.
it still wasn't easy to do that because for me, it took courage. I had to find courage to do it
Yeah.
because I was like everybody else, of a different frame of mind, coming from different experiences. But the fear for me was that, you know, I can do this stuff, but the fear was I can't explain it yet because I don't know enough about it myself. So it took courage for me to work through that and not let that stop me
Yeah.
from going forward. You know, it's something when somebody say, well, what's that rag on your head? Or why you wearing that? Or who you think you are? Who are you at? What are you doing? Who are you now?
Yeah.
You know, or to say, you know, oh, this you following some cult or something.
Yeah.
And not be able to explain, no, you're thinking you have a misconception, then it's a challenge to go out and to do that in the public by yourself. And you don't have nobody with you to explain it for you, but you trying to say this is what you are now. That to me, it took a lot of courage that I gained slowly.
Yeah.
With the help of Bob.
Yeah. That's right. It don't come all at once.
You say that right.
I'll tell you something. I was real reluctant to word I was real reluctant to word feds in the public. I was hesitant. I felt uncomfortable putting the feds on in the public. It took me a while before I could be able to make that adjustment. It may seem like a simple thing to do now, but as we began, it wasn't that simple. Because you have to do what? Grow into it. First of all, you got to start to learn to accept it. Come on, baby.
I think myself, I like what I heard, but I think I came in with a misunderstanding. Yeah, with the movement dedicated.
Yeah.
So, after a minute, you start looking at people like, there's no difference than out there, but, instead of looking at people, we got to listen to the instructions of the prophet.
Yeah.
I'm still hung up on the people.
Yeah.
So my misunderstanding came from the people,
Yeah, Mo.
not the lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to adjust to that.
Yeah.
Took time.
Yeah, do more. That's right. Take time.
Took time.
Take time. Come on.
More, it was 1983 when I run into the prophet. I was in my cell and they had the Moore Science Temple meeting going on. I hear something about you ain't black and you ain't this and you ain't. I said, let me go down here and check this out. I went to the meeting. And from that point on, that changed me because the spirit was there for me to get it. And after that, I run into some serious brothers like you. A whole lot of brothers I run into that was promoting the prophet in the penitentiary. So every Friday, every Sunday, I'm in school. I'm learning. And I ain't never looked back. Ain't gonna give it up. It really woke me up.
Be careful with
It
that
woke me
statement,
up because I was saying I was black and proud.
Yeah, but I'm saying be careful with the statement you just made.
Yeah, but I'm saying it woke me up.
But remember now.
And if anybody want to know anything about the Moore Town, I tell them to look it up.
Hey, Mo,
Look it up.
Mo, remember, I've been knowing you a long time.
Yes, we
So
have.
kind of be careful when you say it woke you up.
Well,
Because by knowing you for as long as I have, there have been an instance or two or three when let's not say we were woke up. Let's say that we were being awakened.
Being awakened. All right.
Okay? Because once you say you've been woke up, and then, well, you may not want to say that right now. Let's just say you were being awakened.
Being awakened.
Yeah. Come on,
Praise God, praise the Lord. My biggest problem was sincerity. Just sincere commitment to the whole program.
Yeah.
My case is a little unique. My father introduced me to another organization that allowed me to wear fez.
Right.
That exposed me to this questionary.
Right.
And the very first meeting I went to at the North Science of America, hearing who I did hear speaking,
Right.
I so just identified with the fact that it was the truth.
Right.
No, it was the truth
Right.
because I live up to it.
Right.
And I
That's the
feel
key.
miserable.
That's the key.
Miserable.
Yeah.
When it came time, while I was in institutional settings, made all the meetings,
Yeah.
very participant in all the uplifting acts
Yeah.
that particular environment would allow for.
Yeah.
And in the very beginning, when I came into society, I was gung ho. I tried my best to exemplify a real diligent energy
Right,
and interest into this program.
right,
But the minute that this other thought was introduced into my life, it sidetracked me so seriously that everything I pretty much heard,
right,
apparently I hadn't learned it. I heard it,
right,
and it proved that it hadn't stuck.
right,
And so hypocrisy showed up, and constancy showed up, and stability showed up.
right,
And I was able to look in the mirror of my own self and see,
right,
you ain't walking this.
right,
At the least little offense,
right,
you out the door.
right,
The least little objection that your doubt bring up,
right,
you talking about, I ain't going tonight.
right,
You know what I mean?
right.
It was a very, very difficult struggle for me to learn how to, first of all, commit to learning sincerity
Right,
and learning constancy, which I'm still doing. I've been in the temple quite a while now.
right,
But I would challenge anybody to say that based on your length of time, you got it. Faulkner Bay can attest to that. I had to travel a very difficult path to get to this point where I'm even beginning to show a semblance of some real genuine membership.
It's normal.
Come on.
You know what? Last week, I was carrying on a conversation with this Christian lady, and she said, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a cult. And you know what? I didn't respond.
Right,
You know, I didn't respond. I just held it.
right,
You know? So then I went to the dictionary and I looked up the word cult.
right,
And it says a religious discipline.
right,
You understand? So I was thinking negatively when she said the word cult.
right,
Because I'm thinking about the Jim Jones mob
right,
and them people.
right,
You see what I'm saying? So I said, we about uplifted fallen humanity.
right,
Now, I don't know what Jim Jones had on his mind.
right,
You understand?
right,
I said, so if you want to, you know what I mean, say that the Moorish Science Temple of America is a cult,
right,
I say, we are a religious discipline.
right.
You understand? And I just left it at that. You know?
Okay, okay. Come on, you.
It's not, but for me, it was the world. You know, Prophet introduced me, or told me about the illusion. 'Cause I never knew about the illusion from the world.
Right,
I'm thinking what I see, the reflexes I see,
right,
is the real.
right,
I wasn't, you know, I wasn't able to see or wasn't taught that it was an illusion. So it was the world for me.
right,
And you know, I'm still learning
right,
about being able to separate the illusion from the world.
right,
So that was my heart.
Right.
Right
right,
there.
right, 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 right. Come on.
Thank you. Since I was raised up in a Christian family, mother, father, my whole family. I broke away when I got older and started getting in trouble and stuff. But I never heard in Christianity that man was truth and falsehood strangely mixed. I never heard that nowhere, but I always knew that say God gave you a will to choose,
Right,
you know, and it took me a while to get back, you know, to the more sides of the mark, because I always believed that it was, like you said, strength, and I see living a better life, as far as when I was taught that the prophet came here to redeem man from the sinful ways, and every man or every human being must need a pattern for their life. And then somehow, the was somewhere I held on to that real tight. You know, and then when I started studying a little bit, just a little bit, it showed me, you know, because I was all, older most always tell me, if you doubt the prophet, a prophet, just look into the prophet prophecies, and you'll find out that the more sign temple America ain't a joke. Peace. I get back there.
Oh, come on, dear.
The difficulty for me was accepting and resistance. Because through my experience, I thought I was right. I did everything the society told me to do. I went to school, I got a degree, and I thought I was going in the right direction. But then when I joined More Science Temple America, I learned things about myself that I didn't know. A lot of those things that I thought was right was wrong. And I think accepting that I was wrong was hard for me. But also a blessing. But then accepting that and being willing to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, yo.
It's, I just want to share that when I first came in to the Moore Science Temple of America, and I heard the voice of the prophet, what had excited me was the call for unity and nationality. And I would sit in a meeting and feel the words of the meeting and say, yeah, like this is about me, nationality, and the call of unity, because that has always been about how people having unity together. But I was raised up in the church.
Yeah.
And for years I even served as an altar.
Yeah.
So the difficult was for me to think, how can I change my God?
Yeah.
And it took a while for me to understand that there was only one God.
Yeah.
That when I started to worship Allah, I was worshiping the same God that I was worshiping in the Catholic Church.
Right. 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 Yeah. Right. Right. Come on, brother.
No more the major thing that caught me with more signs is about the nationality and had the understanding that everyone come from a Pacific country, you know what I mean? That right there alone got me so interested in knowing, learning the truth.
Yeah.
And then I started studying the map and looking from different nations and stop using those names that associate with slavery. Get my mind from that. And that's the main thing that kept me in more signs.
Yeah.
That nationality. Thank you.
Praise God for that.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's God, praise God, honor, already. My situation was a little different. See, I was in the church back when I was young. I come out of family. My family was speaking, right? My grandfather, his brother, all the way down to my father, mother, family the same way. All of us, moonshine brothers, all that other type of stuff. So I come up in a family of a so-called hustlers. So I went into the church. I kept beating my head against the wall, trying to chase me after a dollar. And every time I look up, I'm back in the penitentiary. So I'm 77 years old now. I done did over half my life in the penitentiary. I got to the point in my life where something got to be better. And I was happy to be in an institution. And Brother Loveville and some other members came down with Brother Coffee on them. And I heard he made a statement. If I think my condition could be better, I need to join more Science Temple of America. And once I heard that, I had a couple of quite a few friends down there at the time was Furthermore. I started investigating. I looked every kind of way I could to find something was wrong with the temple. And I couldn't find anything wrong with it. So it took me about 6 months to claim my nationality. But I was constantly looking for information coming back and forth. And I could show you my life is better. Because I beat myself down so low that once I took on more scientific America, my life is going up.
Now,
You know, this whole question and the answers that I've heard reminds me of how there's a parable about seeds being cast and where they fall. And in the parable, it talks about some falling in good fertile ground, some on shallow, some between the cracks, and some on solid cement.
Right.
And in cases where there's good fallow ground, sun and rain cause them to bloom and grow. In cases where the roots may not be allowed to go so deep. Some cases, the seeds are burned up altogether.
Right.
And it just reminds me that when we talk about creative faith and Allah's will in all of our lives, there are no accidents.
Right.
All guns, all events, in cases where we hear different stories about how we came in,
Right.
what our process of development was,
Right.
but what it makes me do, and the lesson I get out of it, and hearing all of this, is to value and just appreciate more my brothers and sisters who've gone through what they've gone through.
Right.
We all got stories that have shaped and molded us to be who we are, how we're developing, who we are unfolding to be in this very sacred place. And I'm sure everybody can attest. Whatever we went through, whatever the oppositions were, the doubts, I'm pretty sure we all can be grateful we're here today.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say praise Allah.
There's no question about that. No question about that. Yeah.
I would like to say, we got to hold on. You got to hold on, because if you let go that plow, Mo, you can get caught up in the rapture.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So we grab hold of something here. I mean, we come into something here.
Right.
We must hold on to it.
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
Because if we let it go, we ain't got nothing.
That's right. That's what's up. That's
Easy.
That's good. Come on back.
I'm speaking along the lines of this. I think several of us been here long enough to see the growth and development.
Right.
Since we've been in this movement.
Right.
And, you know, it changes you. You know, it's best to work like your life out in here than it is out there.
Right.
You know, and I'm quite sure, Randy, since you've been around long enough to see the growth and development in most of our character.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so this movement, more science about America, it works for everyone.
Right. Right.
Because all of them basically came from semi-different styles of life, but it's all the same.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and we growing in here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Where I belong.
You know, I think it. What?
Just briefly.
I'm sorry.
You know what I'm seeing like what I'm hearing out the penal system was a stepping stone for life.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
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 Out of the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean Jesus, he said he went to dismal crypts.
Right.
And Jesus and the prophet is one and the same.
Right.
He freed captive souls. Our souls were somewhat captive.
Right.
When we was in those institutions, in those situations.
Right.
you know, seemed like the funeral system was a blessing for a lot as opposed to a curse.
Right. Right. You know, it was,
Barry finds himself.
yeah, where it sounds was probably better.
Yeah.
But remember, it was a choice that you made
Yeah.
to determine as to whether or not you would go that way or go back that way. But there was something in between that. Something in between that choice that you had to make. Something called inspiration. What inspired you to flip over? Or what inspired you to decide, wait a minute, I want to try something different? Where did that inspiration come from? What made you say that, wait a minute, it's something else? See, something inspired you. And it doesn't matter about whether you were inspired and you came and you went back and you came back and then you went back again. That's not the point. The point is, what inspired you to try it in the first place? Where did that inspiration come from? Where did that little something in you tell you, I gotta try this? Or let me try this. Let me see how it is. It don't matter whether or not it held you, because it was given to you in increments based on the level of understanding that you were blessed with. You know, it don't come all at one time. For some gotta come and go a number of times. You know? But they're still being prepared to get to the point where they can accept it in the more wholeness of it. Because it's a wholeness in the movement, and how you have to accept the movement in wholeness. But all of us, we're still struggling to get to the wholeness of it. And this is just a path for us to get there. Come on, Mom.
Very line on the problem, Brother J. Thompson, correct. I think what really held me there was seeing a lot of brothers changing, and a lot of brothers studying. I didn't really do that good studying in school, but I seen that the prophet and more science of America really had brothers changing and studying. And watching a few old brothers, man, that I hung out with, that's all they was putting in my ear, about the more science of America. And I seen how they came from one way to a righteous way of laying back, and watch stuff go by. But they did a lot of studying. They said less, and they did a lot of walking, and they spread a lot of gospel on me. So that would help me a lot.
Yeah. And often, what really got me, I tell my wife all the time, what really got me was Brother G.S. Hatchet Bay. And to look at him, you would say, man, what is this guy doing? Because if you got caught up on the way G looked, it'd turned you off.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know that, Hill.
Yeah, you sleep on.
You sleep, you be sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a dirty cup of coffee in his hand. His fingernails was all dirty. Had one of those skull caps on, pulled all the way down over his head. So, but it wasn't he wasn't what seemed to be. I mean, he had a way of being able to deliver the message, and you knew it was right.
Light in the darkness, man.
Yeah, man. You just knew it was right.
It's like that.
And so you go beyond what appeared to be. And Allah blessed me to be able to hear what he said. And what he heard, when I was hearing what he was saying, man, that stuff was, man. And especially saying it under those conditions. Wasn't nobody down there talking like that under them conditions. So, I mean, just to hear it. And then to start to see how this thing how it starts to unfold to you in a way that you can see how to use something. You know, because that's the blessing part. When you learn how to use this thing.
Yes, you do.
And you start to say, wait a minute, this thing works.
That's right.
You know? So yeah, that was my
You
inspiration.
saying that you can't judge a book by its cover.
You can't, Mom.
Yeah, that's a true.
But you have to learn that. Because we come from an environment where we do judge the book by the cover.
Yeah,
That's right.
right.
So that means we had to overcome that.
That's right.
You know, and that took a little work.
Yes, yes.
Not to judge somebody. Look, you see a person, they dress real nice, and it appears that they doing good.
Yeah,
But for real, they may not be doing good.
that's
Yeah,
right.
but that's why the prophets say we got two spirits, Mo, and it's in every man, everybody.
Whose hand I see? Okay, all right. But anyway, that's what this thing is about. Remembering something. We all are connected in a way that can be told in words.
That's right.
It's better.
It's not very true.
It's better. It's
You know,
better.
something that kind of moves me. We were speaking to other brothers, different schools of thought. It's going, they try to downplay the prophet in this area.
Right.
And I be wondering why,
Right.
but I don't give it much thought. I just, you know, just all of them seem the same when it comes to that.
Right. But
In the actuality, all of them come through here first.
right. But see, remember, I told you, I shared with y'all one time, a person can come through here and he can be introduced to the prophet,
Mm-hmm.
but he does not know the prophet.
Don't know.
So the people that you hear not accepting what the prophet say or not promoting the prophet, it's because they don't know the prophet. What you all have been saying today is that it's something that you know is right. You've encountered. Thank you. Encountered something that you know is right. It doesn't matter how much of it that you have been exposed to, but you've been exposed to enough of it to let you know something is right about this. Well, that's the prophet revealing himself.
That's right. You're giving.
And with the understanding that you have been blessed with.
You've been given the credit card. You have to use it wisely.
Come on, Mom.
Elijah Muhammad was the driver for the prophet and was introduced to the prophet, and he started his own.
Like you, having met Brother Jess at the Bay, but that was after the first person I heard speak, and it was Brother Arlo here. And to this day, I get on any stand or go to the grave believing that on that particular evening,
Right.
and speak about nobody else and no other time, I honestly was convinced to my very core,
Right.
nothing short of the Holy Breath itself
Right.
is speaking through him.
Right.
To the extent that afterwards, I mentioned, because he asked me how long did I expect to be, and I told him, and it was a long time, I had 24 to 72 years. And he said, son, you're not going to do all of that.
Yeah.
You trust in the prophet and Allah, and you'll see the community again. But when you do, stay.
Yeah. 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 Oh, well, can I bet?
Oh, Islam.
It's not.
Islam. One of the things that inspired me was the voice. I read the prophet had spoken, the voice of the prophet. And in there, some of the things that he said, you know, if you think your conditions could be better, And there was something that was within me and knew that my conditions could be better.
Right.
So in stages, we learn certain things. And when I heard a brother speaking,
Right.
and it was just like I was reading the word
Right.
that I read that advised me to join the Moore Science Football America.
Yeah.
And after doing so, I read that the prophet said, if you want success, follow me.
Right.
And the life that I was living
Right.
before these events, I found that my life had truly started being better, as the prophet said. And another stage where it says, if you want success, follow me.
Right.
And my sheep know the sound of my voice. So it all came back to that voice.
Right.
That voice and the things that I hear when I read my Koran or I hear more speaking
Right.
from the Koran,
Right.
all of that is like one concert in the voice of the prophet. So that was inspiring to me.
Yeah.
And one of the other things, the difficulty was hearing those things and believing in those things, was trying to learn, practice on being consistent in
Yeah.
faith.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Now, what about this? What is, excuse me, what is the danger that will challenge us about this? What is a danger that will challenge us about this? Yeah.
Converting. You convert this and go to something else, you gonna feel the pain more.
Yeah, but that might not be what doubt you're looking for. Yeah, doubt, but it's something else. What else? What do you think it will be a challenge to us? A real challenge to us. What do you think will be a real challenge to us when it comes to the Moorish Science Temple of America and the teachings?
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency. That's a challenge, yes. But what else? Come on, Mo.
Holding the thought.
Holding it, no question. What else?
I'm saying vanity, thinking you got it.
Thinking you got it.
You know,
Thinking you got it.
you know. Well, I
Thinking
got
because
this.
now I can elaborate on
Yeah.
certain things.
Yeah,
I got this thing.
yeah.
Thinking I know
That's
what
right.
truth and falsehood really is. Thinking I understand, or I got my higher self and lower self. Thinking you got it. A false sense of security.
Right.
Along with that false sense of security, those that's misrepresenting the movement,
Yes. Yes.
along with that false security.
Right.
So you never graduate? You never graduated in here?
No. How you graduate? This is infinite.
You learn something. That's graduating.
No, this ain't no graduating. No, that's just evolving.
No, I'm just saying to the point where I'm just using that scenario. But I'm here learning something. I'm here changing. So I feel that's a degree for me.
It is a degree, but that ain't no graduation.
Well, I mean,
Because the graduation means I've completed a certain step of a course.
Okay.
And this can be completed because no finite mind can do what? So we're talking about something that's infinite, everlasting.
Yes.
Because you may see this today, but tomorrow you may see it from a different point of view.
That's right, Bo.
That's right.
So I can't get to this point and say, okay, I've graduated. What have I graduated from?
That's right.
From out of the.
No, that means that you are just evolving.
That's right.
Okay.
Going
I
up.
I grew up pace. I grew up.
Yeah.
Grew up, that's right. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, my sister. Sister Farrakhan.
No, when you were saying graduate, I had just seen something about what you were saying as far as like, that means to complete a course. And I was saying that's mixing their teaching with the
I hear you,
with the prophet's teachings.
I hear you. I hear that. I can hear that.
And, it just certain things that I've learned in the temple, or sayings that we have from the prophet, that constantly make me, think about things, and the way that I and others, I guess, move throughout our lives. And one of those things I would say, like, would be one focusing more on self, because I believe that I'm kind of going all around the world with my explanation, but one thing that I was taught growing up was, that, there's a heaven and hell. And then after learning that it's not, heaven and hell is not a place, but it's a condition, I was always taught that we're gods.
Right.
And then that this evil entity is outside of you.
Right.
Versus it being something that's inside of you. And I think that's something that I've always struggled with, because I know that I can operate in my higher self and have good thoughts and pleasant thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I have those evil thoughts, it's like, well, where is this coming from?
Right.
And so being taught that we have a higher self and a lower self.
That's right. That's right.
That's something that that really resonated with me. That really resonated with me. It resonated, still resonates.
Right.
With me.
Yeah.
And, just watching my language and the things that I say and speak. And I think having a more meticulous eye on the things that we say, like how brother was saying, to graduate is no graduation, it's, everlasting journey.
Right.
And it's ongoing, because we are, it's the everlasting journey, and that's, I guess something too that I have to still get to wrapping my mind around, because I always am thinking about, like, okay, well, I've done this and I've done that, but what about this and what about, and it's always kind of like a checklist internally, because that's the way I think a lot of us have been conditioned in life, to have these goals and have this checklist of, I want to complete this or I want to complete that, and that can kind of be a little exhausting sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
It
point.
can be exhausting.
And to piggyback on that more. Now, the word you use, evolving.
Yeah.
Now, it took some time for Jesus to evolve.
Yeah.
Because he said, I come to show the possibilities of man.
Yeah.
And he also said, I can cross the borderline at will.
Right.
So the prophet said 2,000 years ago, I was Jesus.
Right.
So now you're talking about crossing the borderline at will.
Right.
So that's the evolving that we're trying to do here in the Moore Sign Temple of America.
Yeah. Come on.
That's not great, proper. The danger of thinking you got it. When I first started really reading the Koran, and learn how to really read the Quran from a scientific point of view, having a background. I had a PhD in general physics and quantum mechanics. This will be my last year teaching at Georgetown University. Our Quran says no finite mind can comprehend things infinite.
Right.
And declares human knowledge is but blindness and folly.
Yes.
Prophet said the European is next to me in science.
Right.
I'm confronted with having to address the issue of not even understanding what the merely ideas of man haven't captured about Allah's universe or the development of man or even acknowledging that we finally can have an explanation that ethers really exist from that point of view, their world. It is no wonder that I struggled and stumbled so much because I did think I had it from an intellectual or academic point of view.
Right.
But we're talking about God, Allah. There's no conceivable way any sane person could possibly believe. I don't care how many degrees you got or what group you belong to, any of that. For you to presume with such arrogance that you've got this, when one moment you're proclaiming you are God, but the proof of your behavior shows you below a worm in an instant. So, like you, seeing people who are contradicting in their behavior what this book teaches, it hurry up and humble me to the point where I had to realize you got more faults and failings than you got freckles. You can't even keep up with the count of them. How dare you? So you get humble real quick, especially when you come in here and you hear a sister explain what she just did. And you can hear that. You know what I'm saying? She didn't use no big words. She didn't try to intellectualize it. She made it plain and simple.
Right.
And sometimes, for big-headed people, that shoot right over your head.
Right.
Please.
You know what else he's teaching us? How to do what? What else is he teaching? What is one of the other things that we are learning when we are talking about these divine instructions? What are we learning?
How to listen.
How to listen, yes. But what else are we learning to do?
How to look outside of ourselves.
Yes, how to look outside yourself.
How to communicate.
How to communicate. We are learning the science of expression. We're learning how to express ourselves and talk about things that are not physical, but express ourselves from where? Like inner. I mean, for you to be able to say, I got two selves, and when I'm in my higher self, I think like this. When I'm in my lower self, I think like this. And I'm able to identify the difference between the two. And I can express it, whereas you might say, I can understand that. That's a blessing. Because for a long time, we would substitute the ability to express ourselves by saying, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
We get to a point in the conversation, well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You understand me?
You understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we are not expressing ourselves.
That's
Most
right.
of the time, that was a presumption.
Of course.
You don't know whether they understand what you're saying.
And who's going to tell you that's in a conversation with you, and that want to stay in a conversation with you, that they don't understand what you're
And
saying?
be honest about it.
That's my point. So now to have the courage to express yourself, first of all, before you start to express yourself, you have to do what? Take an inventory of yourself. I got to be able to, if I'm going to talk about me and I'm going to express this about me, that means I have to have given some thought about me.
Sure.
Right. Gotta be what you know.
So that lets you see that the prophet works because he's teaching us how to what? Again, communicate.
That's right.
He shows that it works. Because it's been I have been able to get away from, or I'm being more consistent in getting away from saying, well, you know what I'm saying. Because you know what I'm saying is being lazy. Come on.
I think the prophet also teaching us how to think.
Yes, yes.
So if you think, your condition is down.
Yes, yes.
And you know, I was thinking like I was coming out, going to school, and you learn the color scheme.
Yeah.
Red is red, blue is blue, green is green, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So when I look at my watch thing and it's
Right.
black,
Right.
it automatically let me know I'm not black.
Right.
But the question was, why do we call ourselves black?
Yeah.
You know, where did that come from?
Right.
And the prophet was the only one that could explain that to me.
Right.
And when he did, I'm like, okay,
Right.
I can see that.
Right.
You know, I can be home with that.
Right.
Because anywhere else was other than that.
Right.
You know, and we learn in here the truth don't need no support.
Right.
So you know, I learned the truth and I accept it.
Right. Right. But can you see how devastating that can be to make a person think there's something that they're not? In other words, promoting blackness. Here's someone that promotes blackness, and yet we reject or we accept being black when we can look at the color or the tone of black and see that that's different than what they're saying blackness is.
We have accepted the challenge, Mo.
So to accept being black,
That's right.
you know what mental transition you have to go through to accept being black?
Yeah, that's right.
You gotta go through something. Because I know this ain't black. I mean, I know this is black, but I know, how can you say that we black? How can we even be identified with this? But you accept it.
You're being told.
You accept it. That means you have to train your mind
Right.
to refuse to see what the tone black is,
That's right.
to start to see black in people.
That's the go along to get along.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, sis.
For me, it's just sometimes has me in awe of how miseducated we've been and how a numerous amount of people can continue to, like you said, accept the fact that we call ourselves or called ourselves black.
Yeah.
I'm talking about not us in here, but
Yeah.
have called ourselves black when there are people that are aware that we're not black.
Right.
And have never actually, I guess, questioned us on why we call ourselves black, or, you know, educated us about nationality, you know, because there are people who are the same complexion of us, but that come from other parts of the world who do not call themselves black.
Right.
And they can explain to you why they don't call themselves black.
Right.
But, you know, but they won't say anything to you. And then now you, unfortunately, in today's society, you have a lot of people who are now misled and they are now claiming to be black. So it's a mixed pool. There are people who know and know why they don't, you know, why we shouldn't call ourselves black. And then there are people who, you know, maybe their family members know, but they come over to America and now they claim black because we've made black culture to be something so, I guess, popular. And they want to be a part of it. But, you know, it's sad.
Come on, Dickerson. That's right.
Go along with what she was just saying. You know, even Jesus, you know, as great as a man that, you know, he's exclaimed to be, you know, in all the world, he even questioned himself and said, my Lord self is strong. By many times I'm bound down in carnal life. That's one of the things that, like, once I got introduced to the temple, you know, just learning that how strong it is. Because, I mean, you can pray, you can read, you can study. There's so many things you can do that's in the path of righteousness. And still, you come against that foe. That foe, man, is tough. And you just, it's just like learning, just the evolution of learning how to try to defeat it is the thing that draws me, you know, to this movement, to the what the prophet said, because it's that challenge. You know, I'm always trying to challenge. When the prophet say you the spirit and part of the law, man, that's claim that's something you gotta live up to. And then you gotta go against that challenge. Because when you told us we had a foe, the only way we can perfect ourselves is to conquer that foe. That's what keep me striving, and always keep me wanting to do better.
Okay. Okay. That's what we gotta stop. All right. Peace.
Peace.
Sir.
Anybody else live?
Reading from the Holy Koran briefly, and I'm going to read from chapter 27. Just ahead. The holy unity of the rich and the poor. That's from the divine instruction from the Holy Prophet. Peace.
Peace.
Islam or
Islam.
I think I run into the moderator, you know, kind of talk about where I lived in Sunday school. I pray that everybody got something from this thing and look into, study, and come back next Sunday, bring something that we can share with everybody. At this time, I'll call our Assistant Grand Governor of Washington, D.C., Sister D. Governor Faith, to read the divine word. Please give it our undivided attention.
Islam. I give praise to Allah and honor to His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, honor to the Sunday school and Korean class. May Allah bless us, continue to bless us in our learning to know ourselves and grow closer to Him. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, button, cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace.
Peace.
Allah, the Father, universe.
Allah, the Father, universe.
Father, love.
Father, love.
Truth.
Peace.
Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Drew Ali. Amen.